think you guys all know me, so I'm taking up your time. You guys are here.
Go ahead, Jesse.
I'm Jesse. I work with Dana Larson and with the End Prohibition Foundation. And Dana really wanted to come this weekend, but he has to be at the NDP convention. Is right now. He has to be there the whole time. But anyway, they sent me instead, and I'm super excited to be here. New to the world of activism. Anyway, I started working with them, and I just sort of got caught up in it and really liking being active.
And my name is Jamie. I'm a communications student at Capilano in Vancouver. I did visual communication at VFS. I do film, and I do a lot of documentaries, kind of like I write documentaries about different just sub-level things in Vancouver that I can kind of put my thumb on. But we've been writing a sort of a dramatization about the drug sort of culture in Vancouver, and yeah, we've just been kind of doing that, and he works at dinner. I drive in here.
You guys just came over for this one?
Yeah, well, I was in Victoria for the weekend anyway.
Oh, okay, good. So just pointed the numbers up. I didn't come over just for this, but just glad you got getting yeah, I just had it really. Yeah, I was trying to get online over there, and the other password wasn't working. No? Well, a little bit.
It's the silver star. That's Dan. I'm Andrew. I'm the editor of Canada's Digest. I spend a lot of time bugging people online, and sending emails and letters and writing letters to the editor.
That was brave because you guys are not fan.
I don't know. Sure. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I think we need a Canada card. You have to. It's a ticket to be more outspoken in place of people that can't. I don't like people who are 10 hours talking about this morning when people get their card and like, I'm going to go to the background and that's it. It's over for
It's a
them.
great system worked for me. I don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
for me
like
it's-
today we wanted to have a workshop on the MMA. Not a single person on the whole Canada card showed up because they're not going to bother with that.
Yeah, just like, now I can talk out and not worry about getting beaten up by the police.
I mean, to sort of lead into the online activism thing, like that's a really good way for people to be involved without necessarily being public.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't tell your story. Okay.
Yes, I was found on the internet.
She started.
I grew up on the internet.
Now she's an international writer working for multiple publications.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I write for the Canada's Digest also.
And-
I just moved to town.
And
High Times just hired her to write that too,
Sweet.
based on her work for our newspaper. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she's here too. So.
the whole online thing is great though, because it gives people like, they can just test the waters under anonymity, you know what I'm saying? Anonymity, and they can kind of work themselves out into being open. I think that's very valuable. Unfortunately, a lot of time it takes quite a long time for people to do it, but nonetheless.
Although now Facebook, I don't know. Yeah, it's people are just being much more out about things there.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
At the same time, like I have a lot of friends who have Facebook profiles, but they have to change their names because they're scared of a recruiter like not recruiting them just because they have pictures of him and their friends in the bar. Like,
True. Yeah, it's very closely
it is,
monitored.
yeah, it is very closely watched.
I think about that. I'm looking for a place to live right now.
Yeah.
That's come across.
You can block it off pretty well so people can't see
Yeah.
too much about you. Just don't have your Facebook picture of you going, right?
Yeah, I don't think
But, you know, and it is this something though, where, you know, having places people can hide their names is good, because you can't always do that in your life.
But if everybody's open, maybe they should all.
Things are changing. So I had a few different ideas about how to approach this. But I wanted to also kind of leave a little bit open to the group. So maybe to start with, if we give everyone a chance to speak about some ideas they have about the internet. Maybe if we could split it up into two, or on one hand talk about some of the, I guess, web pages or parts of web pages that they like, you know, kind of most functional, highest use. And then we'll go and have a short round about some things that, you know, either don't like or are missing or not as functional as you think they should be. It might not be that we as a group can do anything about it, but helping bring it to other people's attention might. So I think I'd like to start on more like pro and I'll just start with you, how you spent a fair amount of time in the last few years doing all that stuff, web pages or things online we found to be really helpful.
Well, the campus culture course was probably my first, as far as potty information goes. Hempology was the other, I don't know. Put me on the spot.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to. Maybe, I don't know Jesse as well, so, Jesse.
No. I think one of the ways that I find it's easiest to interact with people online is like through forums, just because it's really simple.
Now, which forums do you use?
Just, I'm not actually on any
Okay.
that will be related to campus culture or anything. But just, you know, like I read the Vancouver Campus Forum, and even like it's just seeing the wide range of people that are using it. It's encouraging, I guess, to me, just because you don't usually see, like with activism, it's usually by and large a smaller demographic than it seems to be online, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, as you said, you know, people are keeping their names hidden. You don't want to expose yourself to anyone under the sun.
I find Facebook to be a really good way to educate, like, people you wouldn't normally have that conversation with. Like, you know, all the kids I went to high school with, you know, their kids and whatever. Well, putting up news stories, you can set your settings so that they're, who can see what. Like, so I'm not sending news stories to my son yet, but you can set it up so that sending news stories are just informative kind of things where somebody might just read it and get a little more educated, so when that conversation inevitably does happen, they maybe know a bit more.
Yeah, it makes it really easy to network and just sort of like talk to people who you don't really know, but you know them, but they're not like anyone who, if you saw them on the street, you would walk up and be like, hi.
Yeah.
So you guys are on Facebook then?
Yeah.
Is that the bulk of Dana's campaign? Being run through Facebook?
He's doing a lot through Facebook and a lot through Twitter.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of followers through those two alone, and it's nice for Dana because he goes and answers the questions on Facebook. Like people will post questions to his like status about him wanting to legalize and allow sex trade workers to have unions and co-ops. There's a big discussion in the comments, and he was every third person just answering everyone's questions. And yeah, it's again, it's a platform with really wide reach that feels really personal. That's makes it a really good tool for just educating people who we don't right now. But we also have a website that's just mostly just to post news and stuff like that. And, just traditional media as well. Being relatively high profile, we're running for leadership of the BCNDB. It allows him to bring the issue to a much larger audience more often than if you were just purely a marijuana activist.
He's always referred to as, and also a medical activist too.
Yeah.
That bugs me.
Yeah.
It's-
We're working on it. We're trying to, pushing as much other policy as well. But,
It's,
I like this
when
section.
I ran for mayor, there was just no way I brought up everything I could,
Yeah.
except for Canada's policy, and I addressed it fast. But it didn't matter how much I talked about sewage or this, that, and the other thing.
it's the sexy issue. That's what they want to talk about.
Yeah. But it's getting the issue out there,
Yeah.
so, didn't expect it to become true, but it's certainly doing a really good job of bringing the issues up with alternative policies and making these politicians talk about issues that are.
Yeah, if nothing
Push
else,
them to the table, right?
people are saying, hey,
Yeah.
you hear Dana, he's said this, what do you have to say about that candidate?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this to come up.
Mhm.
That's good, just for the sake of discussion.
Well, as Kristen was saying earlier, it helps people understand that we're multidimensional. We're not just a pothead and nothing else, but doing all sorts of things.
You can function just like anyone else.
Often more engaged in our communities. And so, and in this case, we're forced to be even more so. I think we're all new people names before they even understood why they've been wrong.
What have you done for the movement?
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. Like, oh, okay, these kinds of people are weird. I'm going to go join the SPCA movement, right? Like,
Yeah, like they treat everyone like a 16-year-old that just put a seed in them.
Yeah, that's the cynicism that comes from being around there, because you do get those that come here just to get involved, and just to, and you start to recognize who's doing it. And I can see, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So I stay there actually to counterbalance that, because I know that cannabis culture is probably one of the most
Almost watched.
found
Oh, yeah.
sites.
Search
Any
engines and
search
stuff,
that
yeah.
you do, cannabis culture comes up.
Well, it's improved a
And
lot,
that's
though,
what's
like-
represented, that's the first thing that people are gonna see.
I did meet some really cool people through there. I met a woman who's a professor down at the University of Washington, and just talked to her online, blah, blah, blah. Like, hey, I'm in Vancouver, cool, let's meet. And it was really awesome. And we talked to her in a couple of years though, but still, nonetheless, she just kind of disappeared. I think maybe she had a falling out with the Vancouver people or something. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of cool. That's what's nice about the forums is there are those gems in there, and those people that are really cool, and you end up hanging out with and meeting.
That's how,
That's why I met Dan.
and down, he was down first, and then.
What drew you guys into that? Was I guess more Jesse?
Well, I don't know. Part of it was just starting to work for, like, I had always been like, I had lurked on forums and, like, not actually contributed very much, but done a lot of research and formed my own opinions. And then I replied to an ad for the job and said, it was for end prohibition, which was looking to legalize marijuana. And I was like, you know what, that is something that I can get behind, and that is something that I would like to be involved with making happen. And sort of just from there, I just became interested and I kept working on it. So.
Are you're just basically looking for something that you could put your energy towards, and you didn't quite know what kind you wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure there's a lot of people. We gotta find those people.
Yeah, but like I graduated university. I didn't want to do what I got. I got my degree in archaeology, and I'm interested in archaeology, but it's not really what I want to do. And so, yeah, I just sat around looking for something, and I was unemployed for 4 months, just like waiting for something.
That skill can be translated into something you can work within cannabis activism too. You can work with respondent, like helping you out with research or something. You never know. Right?
I got a good little project. I'm going off on a side tangent here, but the most expensive artifact in the BC Museum right now is an Assyrian altar. They don't know what it was used for because it couldn't have been used for blood because it's this like 3-foot square rock that's about this big, but the center of it is sort of cupped like a bowl, and as they've said, that wouldn't be any good at all for sacrificing animals in because it would pool the blood, and they didn't like that. Most of the altars that they sacrificed animals on would have the blood spilling all over this place, right? Some health reasons and everything that would be the opposite. And the fact is that it's a great big huge, hash incense burner, but they don't want to admit as much because it's the biggest incense burner, I think one of the biggest in the world, or certainly it's, like I say, the most expensive artifact in the BC Museum. And while they have accepted it, and I think it's even on display now, officially they're like, oh, we don't know what it's for.
Unknown.
So, anyway, twist some arms there to look at that.
I just thought of someone we need to lobby the museums. Just kind of like off topic, but get museums to help lobby, say, cannabis is significantly historic.
Yeah.
That they're full of academics and professionals that people respect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking the UBC Museum of Anthropology as well.
Well, very much so.
Sorry.
It'd be, we're still, this is all on the table. It would be good to have some connections in academia in various communities so that the next time they open up a pyramid in the middle of the desert and discover some cannabis seeds and incense and being used, maybe some new pictographs and stuff.
It gets
if we had local professors in every community that, or museum curators, but respected academia that we knew we could call upon. That because one of the things I want to get into with the Cannabis Digest is sort of like Cannabis Culture is doing, but put out even more of our own stuff, right? Where right now Jeremiah has done a brilliant job of resurrecting the page to a sense, and there's lots of new stuff being posted on the front page, kind of almost every day. A lot of that though is kind of cut and paste from other material, right? He's producing a certain amount. Well, one of the things I've always wanted to do is kind of have a staff writer around, like we could be putting out a press release every single day about something that's happening somewhere in the world and link it up with a professor or a doctor or a politician or something. So, there's a wealth of information kind of hooking up with the relevant academia and would be really good.
Having correspondence is a valuable thing too. You can have people in different areas. I know Diane's down in Oregon, or is it Washington? I know that she's helpful to have it as a U.S. person to help us out. And then we've got a few people in Europe we can use this too. That's helpful.
Because another, I think, really good way to include them, not only in press releases, because they like being quoted, right? So we be helping the media, get the quotes or at least the connections to the people, right? So that they can be really lazy. And I know some of them are, right? Like, I bet that in Iowa Daily News, like, just totally cut and paste some of my press releases, right? And I'll read them in the newspaper. It's like, yeah, I did good, They won't source me, but, I don't care. It's in the paper, right? So, you know, like a lot of them would be happy, you know, in this day and age, if they didn't have to pay staff writers because, you know, we're doing the work for them. They could just like size it down or add to it or whatever they wanted, right? But it would really help establish us if we had like a daily press release coming out about everything under the sun, right? Like Hemp on Tuesday, you know,
Even if it's just like a daily news roundup, but like not just copy and paste, just like someone writing just like 3-4 paragraphs about like the big things that happened today.
And then you can further research it, you get the links or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in contact.
Yeah, we're really excited. You've seen our newspaper around a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a wonderful project. Andrew did the newspaper at the school in Nanaimo that Jeremiah did before as well,
Right.
Navigators. Same connection, but yeah, it's been a wonderful project for us. We're now just starting to get some of the online stuff up and running. Focus more on the print before putting that in. Yeah.
I don't use Twitter. Do you guys use it?
I use it, but only for reporting. I have the Why Prohibition website set up so that anytime I post a news article, I automatically tweet it and put the hashtag legalize on it, so that if anyone's browsing legalization news, it'll come up.
Is it effective?
I don't know. I have way more followers than when basically if you follow someone, they'll follow you right back, and then you start showing up in their feed. And like Why Prohibition has usually there's like 600 users on it at a time, or 600 people viewing at a time. Yeah, it's a ton of people.
Twitter's always seemed to me like one of those things like making myself a jam sandwich. It's like I just don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah, exactly. But and actually I found that Twitter, if you're using it right, it can be a really good tool. I found like 3 or 4 people who, or about 15 people who were really worth following for drug use, and a bunch of people who were really good for following for like news about the NDP. We also have an NDP website. And if you just go and you can just like see what that person has tweeted today, and it'll be like there's people just tweeting stories, opinion pieces. Just a really good way to keep updated, and if you're reposting that to other people reading that,
I know that Twitter has a good policy against government intervention. They blocked the government from getting access to their archives, whereas Facebook, they're like, there's no comment. So obviously they handed it over. So you say it's worth getting involved in?
Yeah, and again, yes, it is. Especially if you're using it just if you like to connect with people, because a lot of people use Twitter. I don't know who they are because no one I know uses Twitter, but a lot of people are using Twitter.
Computer group chat.
Yeah, probably. it's the only explanation.
But Twitter has amassed people to change names of things when weird websites have weird contests to change the name of some Hungarian bridge. They'll mass people to that and make it something funny. It's happened several times. The power of just sheer votes from people is amazing in the online world.
Yeah, well, and the thing with early in the campaign for Dana Larson, the CTV or the local mail or something had an online poll. An online poll said, which candidate do you think is best for the NDP? And Dana was consistently had 60% of the vote.
From tweeting.
From tweeting and
Facebook
putting on his Facebook
forums
and being like, hey, this vote is happening.
That's where I first.
And if nothing else, people are going to see that and be like, oh, a lot of people like Dana Larson. I wonder why that is. Right? So it's a really good way to just the online votes are really good. There's a really good online community that you can connect with through social media, which is exciting.
The game was kicked out of the NDP convention, and Twitter was pretty
Yeah.
central to keeping everybody. I I tweeted for a whole day there, so I did.
I guess in times of like turmoil too, like what was happening over in Egypt, people were tweeting.
Yeah.
That was the only way that
People were distributing.
That's the only way to get out, because
Yeah.
otherwise it wasn't. And Al Jazeera was doing a good job, but that's it. Nobody else was doing it. Well, we can go slightly there if you want.
There was a lot of people protesting today in Palestine.
I know the Middle East is on
And
their way to
tweeting, I would think, would be the main message system
Yeah.
that they would be using because it's so short and sweet. And so, in times of crisis, I can see how, like it would be good for us to get to that point as well, especially if you're full-time working for us now online and stuff, because, we have police raids, right? And the Compassion Club up in Portland got busted yesterday.
Really?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, our friends are going to be at the convention tomorrow. But, we've had many police raids here as well. And, the last time our bakery got raided, it would have been something that, if we had these mechanisms in place, I could have had a protest in an hour.
Yeah,
Right?
less.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, less, but I would have said, okay, 1 hour, But it would have been like within 1 hour of me saying, okay, you guys are going to shut down our club, we're going to have a protest. I'd have the media, I'd have the
Exactly.
microphone, I'd have
There
the
are
signs, I'd have, the stage would be set within 1 hour.
Well, I mean, rest assured that all the major media outlets, because I mean, you're in one of those like hot topics that people like to read. They'd have you on and watching what you're doing.
So, there's some good reasons for us to get to that level as well.
It's so fast. The world's moving so fast.
In a way, I would probably be more inclined to be promoting a Twitter than a Facebook, just having been out of both, and not having ever even tweeted myself, but it's only been about a year and a half, but I have been kind of watching it, and I do like the speed. I like the how brief it can be.
Yeah, how brief it has to be.
Yeah,
So many
people's attention span, like even my own, right? It's like I've got so much information coming in that if I wasn't working with people so much and was kind of we're working more in your area, having something that came in, it's like, okay, oh wow, okay, I'm gonna look into that, right? Like it gives you that opportunity to just get the sound bite, and then if the sound bite sticks, then you go for it, right? I really think that for our purposes, especially with the idea that we've also got our own forums, and I think if properly moderated, forums can be an incredible tool. I've seen some, like you say, the MedPod forum, right? Like the fault of the MedPod forum, if there is a fault, is that the guy behind it is just about dead. And he's in a small community in the middle of Northern Ontario, so he's not really interacting with others. And
He's superhuman though. The guy
drawing
can't-
in new people.
The guy's superhuman. I can't believe what he goes through. He's incredible.
And because it's almost built around this ill community as well, people are coming and going due to health reasons as much as due to just not being so active. But I really like the idea of having a combination more of like a tweet, forum, and web page that we're fully in control. Although Facebook's good.
Well, with Twitter though, it's mostly on people's phones, right?
A lot of people use it on their phones, but a lot of people just use it on their computers.
So you can still do links and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to use like URL shorteners, but you can get it to do it automatically.
Yeah, that's what I like about Facebook, is you get your little picture of
Yeah.
the guy yelling and screaming with a club in his hand, and then the headline, right? And then you click on it and read the article. That's what I like about Facebook. But I've never been on Twitter, so I can't say I don't like it. I'm just afraid of it.
It's a lot of briefism.
Yeah.
It's just, it'll be like a headline and then a link and then maybe like a hashtag. It's just like what this is about.
But you can search the hashtags on Twitter and pull up what people are talking about on the Twitter. Like if everybody uses like hashtag pot, anybody who puts up something about pot, you can pull up strangers, even people you don't know, that are talking about that particular.
And that's how people get all the followers from people that you've never even heard of. Alright.
But that's
Is it very anonymous though? It sounds like it's.
You don't have to give like your name. Like you could just say like, you know, like activist, like 420 activist guy or whatever.
Okay.
And you could just be constantly posting stuff and following people, and then those people
Nice.
hopefully follow you back, right? And then
Okay, well, I like it because then, you can be anonymous if you want to be, but
Yeah,
if you
but you
want
can
to put
also
your
be
name
personal.
out, then you put your
Yeah.
name out, and this is my opinion and stuff, right? Whereas, you know, so like I say, I've been impressed with Twitter, even though I just haven't plugged anyone into it. It's more just the other than staff.
I'm gonna open up an account tonight.
You know, it's the sort of thing.
I'll take a photo of my truck home.
It was inevitable as much as, you know, doing more of our work on Facebook was, but I really do see the utility in Twitter. Now that it's got to this point, right? Like at first it was like, well, you know, neat idea, let's see how it goes. Whereas now, like you say, it's just, well, it is what it is, right? You're either in or everybody else seems to be doing it.
exactly.
And I think both are improving too.
Twitter to your Facebook, so when you're updating your Twitter.
Yeah, you can have it do both at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one called Dig as well. I've never even, I don't even know what that does.
Yes.
Well, there's like 50 of them.
Yeah. I think if you even just go into like Google News and just type like marijuana, you'll get just like a constantly updated feed of stories, and then there's